Hey guys, welcome back to my vlog, my channel. Welcome to the first week of Beetlejuice. Woo!
Auto private.
Oh my god, happy birthday, Adrian!
Beetlejuice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Load. Oh, that's rude.
Yeah, it's fixed dead. Motion tracking and everything. Never leaving the house again. Sorry, guys.
You're joking! That's so good.
Mona keeps hurting me when she's putting my mic on. My name's Rob. I'm in Beetlejuice the Musical.
I'm just here.
Today's a very special day actually because we're doing
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. We're doing not like a full run through, but we're doing.
Rob, we're ready for you.
Oh, I think they're ready for me to do some.
1 second.
They're ready for me to do some kissing. Because we have to do an intimacy call because James Haxby, who is the cover for Eddie Perfect as Beetlejuice, is doing a full dress run of the show today. That's very exciting for him and for us. Also, I saw somebody saying, I love the way that Rob Johnson's playing Adam Neurodivergent. No, I'm not.
It is Wednesday. We are headed back to the theatre to do another day of tech work in the morning, cast on stage session in the evening, and then a preview again tonight. What we are doing today is we are teching the media call for tomorrow, and I think this morning the tech work that is being done before cast on stage is a pre-lighting session for the EPK on Friday. The week before opening is always insanely huge. Not only a bunch of previews, but tech work in the morning to tighten things up, fix things, get things ready, work on things that need to be worked on, adjust stuff for the show, cast on stage sessions so we can do the very same thing with the show itself and all the actors in it. We will also classically do a media call for a lot of shows. So this week we've got media call, EPK, opening, 5 previews, and then we have a show on Sunday as well after opening night on Saturday. Absolutely mammoth week. So far so good though. So far the vibes are high. This company has an incredible ability to remain positive and just like full of joy, even when we're all really tired and we all have so much on our plates, and that has been so nice to work in. I love it. I asked on my Instagram, which if you're not following it, go and follow it, for questions for myself or any other company members about the show, about the experience of getting the show together, anything really. I am going to take those to the company today, see if I can get some people in a spare second of time to answer those for you. Got 8 hours of sleep, which in a schedule like this is a miracle. It is 9 a.m. and I start at 10, so let's go back. The sound office. I realised that what desperately needs to go on my list of things to do today that is kind of not show related but very much related to our space is cleaning my coffee machine. It is foul, as you would have just seen. I decided to do it after I made a coffee because to clean it and then just get it dirty again would have made me crash out, and we're protecting our mental health this week, so... While I'm belting up, actually, I did want to answer a question that I got on Instagram, because I do actually have an answer that I think is not the typical answer. What do you recommend including on your CVs for getting your first pro job in sound or tech? I obviously personally can't speak to the experience of other technical departments, but I can speak to sound. The thing that I would recommend you putting on your CV, it's to do with your references. The people in your life who have the most proximity, or that you've worked with, who have the most proximity to having worked with or knowing the people that you want to be hired by, is the person who should be your reference. At least in my experience, more so than they care about the degree you have, or where you went to uni, or necessarily the shows you've done even. People care about getting a first-hand, review's not the word I'm looking for, account, first-hand account. People care more about finding out from a source that they trust what working with you is like. Did you have a teacher who you know works closely in that industry, or would know the people who work in that industry? Have you done a bump in or a community theatre show with somebody who you think would be close to knowing them or have that degree of separation? That is the person who should be the reference on your CV if you are wanting a job in this industry. How do you get those references? If you've got teachers who you know are in the industry or know people in the industry or have worked with people in the industry, if you have local theatres around who take on local crew or crewing companies. We are currently in the Regent Theatre, which is a Mariners Group theatre. Work for Mariners. Amateur shows, being involved in the industry in general on a smaller scale is a positive. As people move into this side of the industry, they're going to get asked, we need a person for this. Is there anyone that you know or recommend? Make all the connections you can make with the people you work with at every level, and that will help you in the long run in getting your foot in the door. I've talked about all of this before in a video, and I do talk about it with people when I do Q to Q, which will be coming. There will be more episodes. I've just been doing this, obviously, but that is my answer. Good things to put on a CV, people that you've worked with as a reference who might have a connection to the people you want to be employed by.
You just like ate nuts and you just fucking died.
I have 2 questions for you. One of them
Okay.
is, will the ad-libbing from Eddie remain after the show is settled? Is that part of it all?
I think show business is most of what you can get away with. And there are little parts in the show where I can ad-lib. And
As a character, you break the fourth wall pretty often.
yeah, but a lot of it's way more scripted than people think. It has the appearance of being ad-lib because stuff is said to the audience or it's thrown away or it's delivered in a kind of a fourth wall breaking stand-up comedy kind of thing. But there aren't a huge amount of places where I just make stuff up, but it's evolving. It's basically like you just keep working until you find the idea that lands the best. It's sort of a little bit wet cement at the moment in a couple of places where I'm like in the goodbyes where Beetlejuice is saying goodbye to everyone. I feel like there's ideas that can land there, and you're also just trying to work out how your funny matches up with other actors' funny. So
Yeah, kind of as much about what you say as it is about how everyone else on stage runs with it.
it's about finding your moment. If you improv in the middle of a place that is built on having really specific timing and energy, then you just completely destroy the rhythm of the scene or what's happening. And it's like, just for the sake of an ad-lib, you undo the pacing of the show, and that's bad. But there are these moments where you can slip in little bits, and that's always good. I find they're a good place to find something new, not necessarily because they're better for the audience, but because they keep the cast on their toes. If you can do stuff that surprises people in the cast, it's really useful because it keeps them engaged and it's fun. It's like when you do the same thing over and over again, anything slightly new is like crack cocaine. You know, you're like, this is fun.
I've noticed that in the runs that we do, whenever people try something new or do something a little bit different, you laugh pretty often, but not on stage ever in front of an audience. Is that because of that feeling of like, this is unexpected? And
Yeah. I think a big part of acting is keeping the integrity of the show while keeping all of your fellow actors on some kind of a sense of alert that they have to be awake. That, you know, you're not just going to like zombie drift through this show. That something new might come at you and you have to be able to deal with it. And that creates a bit of a spicy atmosphere on stage that's useful, I think.
kind of helps to keep you in character, I guess, as well. If you have to be thinking about, like, how would my character, not I, Eddie, react to this?
And it also feels dangerous too, and it makes everybody a little bit worried, like all the directors and the associate directors and everybody around is like, oh, if there's a sense of like, Beetlejuice might say something inappropriate or go do something weird or unexpected, it builds danger into the show, and I think that's useful. What else have you got for me? Monique?
When writing the music, was Eddie given a script to work around, or was the process more of a collaboration?
Oh, it's a little bit of both, because when I got the job, the script, which is written by Anthony King and Scott Brown, they'd been developing it for 3 years, sort of with Warner Brothers, and not full time, so they write in other places, but they'd been working on how to adapt the film. And obviously, you know, films are tricky to adapt to the stage because you don't have the power of editing and being able to just jump between locations. And also with a musical, you're going inside a character, so you're necessarily getting more information, more private information out of them. As soon as the character sings, it's like you get to know stuff that is not in the movie. The subtext kind of becomes sung. And so they were like, well, how's it going to work on stage? And then reoriented the story to be about, you know, Lydia and her grief and that being the way through the show. Whereas in the movie, we start with the Maitlands. It's sort of the Maitland. It's sort of like about a
Yeah.
middle class couple coming to terms with the fact that they're dead. And Lydia doesn't come in till much later with the Deeses, and is sort of a minor-ish character, even though she has a big impact. She's quite small. So that had been all happening before I came along, and so when I got the script, there was like this whole script from beginning to end, and it would, there'd be dialogue, and then there would be these pieces in bold type in parentheses that were like a song. Lydia sings a song about grief or loss or anger or why her dad doesn't notice her or whatever. It wouldn't be descriptive about what the song should be. It was just like, this is the way the character's feeling, and this is sort of the vibe of it. And so when I got the script, I was able to write to those moments, but I was also able to go, hey, I don't think it should be this moment, or it should be this moment, or not only just about where and what characters sing. Once you're on the team, we made big decisions about where the story went, like originally Lydia reconnected with her mum, Emily, in the Netherworld, and they had like a scene and a song together. And then after a workshop, we were in the bar afterwards, and we were like, that feels really shitty for anyone that's lost somebody, because you don't get to, you know what I mean? You don't get that resolution. In fact, that's the kind of one defining thing about grief, is that you never get that resolution with that person. So anyone that's experienced grief that's sitting in the audience is going to be like, well, that's a bloody sellout,
I can't take anything really from this because I'm never going to meet
Yeah.
my loved one in...
And they're going to say, you know what, it's okay, you're doing the right thing, go back and live. She needed to find the reason to kind of decide to choose life herself. And it couldn't come from her mother, and it had to come from the people that are left. So those big decisions come as part of collaboration. So that was why I was a bit of both. The What's on Stage now is very different to what I got, back in 2015 when I was handed the script.
Yeah, I was wondering about that when I read it, because there are so many lines in the show that are lyrics in the songs. I didn't know, did you take those from the script? Did the script take those from you?
Yeah, you do a bit of both, because it's like 5 years of development where you're like looking on its feet and you're making connections between things, and you're like, oh, what if that wasn't dialogue but it was a song, or what if the song had a break and there was... People often look at a whole musical and see the whole thing, but really a musical is just like, it's like throwing pebbles into a pond and making the water rise. It's like a bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and taking things away. And over 5 years of working on the one thing, you can make a huge amount of change and add a lot of detail and start to see the connections between things, and then the whole thing starts to feel and flow like one piece.
Is that overwhelming now to have to take it on as the character?
No, it's actually great. It's like putting on a jumper, and you're like, oh, this is a nice jumper. And then you forget that it used to just be like bits of thread and wool, and you had to like make the wool, and you had to knit the whole fucking thing, and you know what I mean? Like, it's so densely made, but now none of that was useful for acting in it. Actually, there's no advantage to having written it really at all, except that I was a little bit familiar with the music coming in, obviously, but learning the script and learning all the magic and the choreography and the costume changes, and it's like a totally different job in the same company. That's what it feels like.
Chance to be at a lot of the production periods for other companies?
No, I wasn't in rehearsals for any other company except the Broadway one, really. And that was wild, because it was like you're rehearsing a show at the same time as you're making a show. So sometimes you're like, well, let's cut that and rewrite that. And so, it's always evolving and always changing. But it was really fun to do, and it was really funny because the Broadway cast is such funny actors, like our ones here, that, you could bring in changes, and you had these amazing actors there ready to make it funny, and you knew if they couldn't make it funny, it was your fault.
This doesn't land.
Yeah.
It's definitely not them.
Yeah, it's not them. Yeah. Here you go. I love this. Hello.
Tech run for Media Call.
Let's do it.
I'm coming for people in their dreams, I reckon. I would hope I wouldn't be like a ghost that's motivated by malice. So not like a Freddy Krueger in your dreams. Encourage you to have really vivid, weird dreams where I'm specifically there, even if you don't actually know me, but this guy keeps turning up in your dreams and having really thoughtful or intense or weird conversations with you. And you only half remember the dream, or it's only after you've had a whole series of these dreams that you're like, what is that?
I think I would make people do shit that they didn't realise they were doing. I'd gaslight them. If I was looking to scare them, if we're like Beetlejuice looking to scare, I'd hardcore gaslight them, yeah. Take pieces of food off their plate, or I'd just put the food on their plates. They're consciously I swear I ate that. Didn't I eat that? Or just steal their underwear, or just things that make you be like, Am I going crazy? That's what I'd do if I was looking to scare someone. If I was looking to be like lovely and generous, then I would just like lift them up and like fly them places and just like stop other people's clocks so that like the clocks came back in your favor.
Well, Eddie Perfect is definitely the most like Beetlejuice. No.
In what way?
No, that's not true. In fact, I would say Eddie Perfect is the least like his on-stage character, because he's just a very sweet, beautiful, softly spoken guy. He's just a cool dude.
Probably Eddie. Eddie's such a legend and actually really generous and really kind and alive, and he doesn't smell. Heard it here first. He's actually just like really nothing like Beetlejuice, but he's very good as Beetlejuice.
I'm gonna say, oh God, this is a great question. Well, old mate Viv Conahan over here, Andy is not at all like Otho, let's be honest. I'd also probably say that Ange Casamatis, she's like a superstar, like Miss Argentina, but she's not at all like, give me the focus. Whereas Miss Argentina is like, they gave me this sash, they can never take it away. Like, you know what I mean? She's center stage. So that's what I would say.
Noni McCallum is nothing like Maxine.
Nothing like, or Juno.
Or Juno. She's nothing like Maxine. I think Rob Johnson is a little bit like Adam Maitland. In all the good ways. I can definitely see some similarities between Rob Johnson and Adam Maitland.
There are definitely big crossover points between me and Adam Maitland. I would say that Adam's just like a heightened version of, like his neuroses are heightened versions of my own actual personal neuroses.
It's very easy. Who's most? Rob Johnson. He is just as wholesome, dorky, witty, hilarious, and sweet. You heard it here first. Rob Johnson makes me feel like a bad person because no one is as good as Rob Johnson.
Can't stop moving.
We are going to the fall. Antoinette, this is my moment. What's up, Montec? Welcome to my crib. I'm going to be showing you the front of house area for Beetlejuice the Musical. So I'm going to show you first my area where the magic happens. For Beetlejuice, because it's a very SFX heavy show, we actually have two operators at front of house. The SFX operator, which is moi, and the front of house operator, which is Anthony over there. We run our show through QLab. Many cues which are triggered by me, and then some are triggered by Anthony. It's like a perfect marriage. I have this little thing over here which is a PTZ controller. It's a camera on the circle rail that I can zoom in. So I have different presets on the camera and I can zoom in as much as I want. It really helps me because I can see all the details on stage and, you know, able to make the cues a bit tighter. because a lot of the cues that I take, most of it's visual. A lot of it is also musically. I don't take any cues that are called by stage management. Alex and I, the DSM, we have one special moment during Act 2 that she gives me a cue light, and it's the best ever. Welcome to the lush Mr. Craython side. This is, as you guys are saying, an SD7 cue. Anthony mixes the cast and the band, our standard front of house setup. He also controls some of my cues, which I said before. This is a Beetlejuice sound tradition, which our associate Justin requested for me to put together. And I really think it enhances, the experience of the show. One thing about the sound department, we love little trinkets. It's a vibe. La la la, nothing to see here. So one thing that's very important on my day to day is my mixing crocs, because I love to stand and mix. Doesn't matter if it's the sound effects or if it's front of house. I love to mix in my socks. So whenever I need to go backstage, I always chuck this bad boy on. This is the history of my past mixing career for the past 3 years. This started off in Saigon. My department at the time, we all got matching crocs. Alex gifted me the Beetlejuice and the banana. It's hella comfy. I recommend everybody get a pair of crocs.
To monitor the show, we use a program called WaveTool. I can see people's battery levels, I can see how far away they are, we can listen to their isolated channels to check that their microphone still sounds good. On WaveTool itself, there are a bunch of different coloured lines which communicate different things. The green line is the audio, the peach and the purple coloured lines are our two antennas that work with our system, so if those are both going well, the pink line at the top will be solid. If any of those are not going very well or somebody is out of range, you will see a drop in the pink line, and that is how we monitor the show.
Thank you, and here we go. Roll cameras, please.
I regularly mask what I use as a tool while I'm on a show. During a bump in and a bump out it's different, but during a normal show, this is what I carry every day. I am using the thigh rig from Sideshift Gear as my kit. Attached to the kit itself, I keep a bunch of tapes that I use on cast members to keep their microphones secure, and I also carry a microfiber cloth towel situation as well to help with de-sweating people and wiping things up. I also use this LED lenser torch backstage for either practical work purposes or for reading. This torch is great, has a lot of options, different brightnesses, and it's also magnetic. On the other side of my kit, I carry a couple of things in these little slots. I always carry some kind of lip gloss or lip balm because these old theatres are incredibly dry. I carry a pair of scissors for cutting up tape. As well as that, and specific to this show, I'm carrying a little tube of wig glue, which I use to help secure some people's mic positions on their forehead. In the pouch itself, I carry a sharpened knitting needle. I also carry my favourite pen and permanent markers. On the front of my kit, I have my name label that the team at Sideshift Gear were kind enough to gift to me. I also have a couple of pins from our merch stand. Inside the main pouch, I carry 4 little containers. I carry wig pins to help me stick people's microphones in, Tegaderm, which is a kind of tape that we use. It's very good for sensitive skin or for people with darker skin tones when you can't usually find tape that doesn't stand out so aggressively. As well as this, I have little cut up pieces of wig lace, which I use with that wig glue that you saw earlier. I've been using this to help secure people's mic positions on their forehead. This was a tip given to me by our WAM department, which has turned out to be one of my new favourite things to do ever. And the last thing that I carry in these little containers is toupee clips. In this tiny little back pouch, I carry alcohol wipes, new latex covers, hand warmers because we are in Melbourne, it is freezing and I already have cold hands as it is. I carry a little cheat sheet for our patch bay because on Beetlejuice I have to patch in microphones during the show. And I also carry a little mini plot for myself that is just like a cheat of my plot. This is what the kit looks like. I clip my radio to my belt and I'm all good to go.
Know this whole dance is I'm not gonna do it.
That sounds really comfortable.
That's why I hate
Yeah, I love fucking chat. Love chat, but
Hi, welcome to breakfast. Today I'm having avocado on toast. Avocado grows on a tree.
Where does Coast go?
Also on a tree.
that's like the. I don't know. Those things are photos. You've asked someone to take a photo as well.
I terrifyingly edited the faces of our entire team, including the incredible Nicole who helped us build the show in the warehouse, onto faces of Beetlejuice and clones, and then I got them put onto cupcakes.
And then that hit the cupcakes, which flipped. But fucking hilarious.
Are we supposed to leave? I don't know.
I got my hearing back then.
I gotta save my suit.
I'm not dressed for warm-up.
Get in the pig.
In the pig!
Holy crap, a ballad already.
I'm gonna be back with the cheese.